start our convention, and I give the words to Ozge Cordan, our project coordinator, and so we can introduce every interventions. We have a very full morning, and so good work. Please.
Thank you. I also would like to thank to Francesca Tosi and the Antonella Serra and the other members of this organization. It is very valuable and important organization for the Pushcat project, as well as you as a guest. And we hope we will have a very good session in this week, and we can exchange the knowledge all together. We can learn more, I hope. And I would like to introduce the project and give some info to all of you. So then we will go to the sessions, I guess. With your permission, I would like to introduce our project to you. The name of our project, do you hear me? Do I need this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The title of our project is Practicing Universal Design Principles in Design Education through a cat-based game, with abbreviation of PUTCAT. We call it PUTCAT actually, in a short way. The aim of the project is to widen the knowledge of practice of universal design in architecture, interior design, interior architecture, product design, educations. PUTCAT involves on a cat-based platform which allow undergraduate design students to learn, understand, and practice universal design principles from basic to advanced, and train them on an entertaining context. It will also encourage the future designers to exert and test their knowledge on cat-based platform by an architectural game. The game will focus especially on inclusive high school design for the students with cerebral palsy, CP, that includes several distinct forms of impairment of motor functions which cause different movement disorders. So we would like to introduce us to all of you. Istanbul Technical University from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm also a member of this group. Is the coordinator of this project. And we have partners from high education institutions listed in alphabetical order. As you see, I want to introduce the members of each partner to all of you, and I want them to introduce themselves as well. Actually, we have an exchange partner, and we have a new partner from Turkey again, Bahçeşehir University BAK Lab. I want to introduce Güven Kötak as a coordinator, and Güven Hocam, please, you can also introduce the other members, is it possible? And introduce the institution a little bit.
Hello, good morning everyone. Here we are a team of professors from the University of Bahçeşehir, Bahçeşehir University Game Lab, which is called BAK. We have Çetin Tüker here, and we have also Barbaros Bostan, the researchers and professors in the lab. As BAK Lab, we are the center of community in Istanbul, especially for indie game developers. And we include the lab itself includes an undergrad and a master's program on game design, and plus a VR lab and a pre-incubation center. And this project is also very important for us because we also like to work on those kind of let's say social impact projects and serious game projects. So we are very happy to be a part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you. The other partner is from Finland, and I want, it's the LAMK, Institute of Design and Fine Arts from Lahti, Finland. I want to introduce Timo Sulkame. Could you introduce yourself a little bit and your institution?
Yes, hello everyone, I'm Timo Sulkamo. As you heard from Lahti Institute of Design from Finland, I'm there one of the professors of interior architecture, and I'm also the head of the Department of Interior Architecture and Furniture Design. We are one of the oldest design schools, well, the second oldest design school in Finland, and it's very nice to be part of this international project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our partners from Italy, the first one is in an alphabetical order, Polimi School of Design, and I would like to introduce Fiammetta Costa to all of you.
Hello, I'm Fiammetta Costa. I'm a researcher in Politecnico di Milano in the design department. In this project there are also other colleagues working with me, which are not here today. Some of them were here some days ago. Professor Buratti was here and Professor Michela Rossi. They teach design methods and also CAD. And then we have in the group also Professor Pillan, who teaches user experience. And we have also newly PhD students, one new, and she is here but not now. So you will know her in the afternoon because she is also presenting a paper and when she will arrive. And I am also very happy to work in this project.
Thank you. And I will also give the word to Francesca Tosi again. Unity.
Good morning another time. I'm Francesca Tosi. Our group is with Antonella Serra, Esther Iacono, Alessia Brischetto. We work in our laboratory of ergonomics in design. We work on human-centered design approach, user experience, and inclusive design. Our part in this project, input card project, is basic evaluation and observation into schools with students, and then our work will be the guidelines and the learning system on the game. Then will be work where Dark is a group, and today, in these days, we organize a workshop and this conference. Good morning.
Thank you. And we have another partner from Germany, THOLL. OWL, sorry. They have recently changed their names. And now Ulrich he's not here and Kristina is here. I want you to introduce you and your institution a little bit.
My name is Christina Herrmann. I'm a research assistant at the Detmold School of Architecture and Interior Architecture. It's part of the University of Applied Science and Arts. And I work as a research assistant in a perception lab, and that's a part of the other project. And we're research about the other perception, and that's very important for this kind of project. And yeah, we're very, very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And besides higher education institutions, we have two NGOs. They are from Turkey, Ankara, the capital city of Turkey. First one is SARCE, the Association for Wellbeing of Children with Cerebral Palsy. Unfortunately, there is no member of this foundation right now here. But we have also therapy, and we have two professors from this institution. They are also working at university, and I want to introduce Hülya Kayan to you, and Gonca Buni from Hacettepe University. And would you like to introduce you and your institutions and the foundation as well?
Hello, everybody. We are a professor at Hacettepe University Occupational Therapy Department in Ankara, Turkey. We are also with Hülya Kayan. She is director of our Occupational Therapy Department. We are also executive member of Occupational Therapy Association. We are studying ergonomics, inclusive design, accessibility for all disabled people. So we are very pleased to be a part of this project. Thank you.
Thank you to our partners. They will also present papers in this conference, so you will also follow them through the conference. And the last but not least, I would like to introduce our team to you. I am Ozge Cordan from Istanbul Technical University Department of Interior Architecture, and two of our professors they are abroad right now, Demet Dinçay and Çağıl Yurdakul. But we have two research assistants. I would like to introduce them to you, and they can also say something to all of you. Elif Belkıs Öksüz from Department of Architecture.
Hello everyone, glad to be here and see you. Yeah, thank you for that.
And Sena Demizoğlu, she was our former student, now she is a research assistant at Product Design Department at ITU.
Hello everyone, have a nice day and see you in the day.
Okay, thank you. So I will also give some details about the project. The PUTGET project is held under the Erasmus Plus Higher Education Key A203 Key Action 2 program and funded by the European Union. The maximum grant about of this 3-year-long project is almost 314,000 euro. PUTGET project involves 4 intellectual outputs, as Francesca Tosi told about 2 of them. We have scientific papers, game software, game guide, and e-learning courses numbered 07, 08, 09, and 010. And we have 3 multiplier events. It means international conferences. We had one in Detmold in October 2018, and now we are in the second one right now, and we will have the last one in Istanbul next year, and we hope you will also come to Istanbul and joining us the last conference of the project. And we have 9 learning, teaching, and training activities. We have already finished the first student workshop C4 in Milan in 2018 in February, and it was just for student workshop. And then after this, last October in 2018, we have in Detmold in Germany, we had a C5 student workshop and C10 teaching training, teaching at student workshop activities. And here we had also C6, and you will see the results of this student workshop in this conference as well. And C11 teaching at student workshop activities, and we will continue with C7, C11, 12 in Lahti, and C8 and C13 in Istanbul. So this is a summary of the 1.5 year of PUTGET. As I said, some of them, we started with a kickoff meeting through Skype, and then we finished these 2 student workshops, 1 teacher training workshop, 3 translational meetings. We had also some local workshops, 1 interim report and 1 progressive report submitted and accepted. Facilities were carried out in terms of dissemination, website and social media accounts were opened, articles were published, interviews were made. And happening now at UNIKI, as I said, this conference, student workshop, teacher training workshop, and transnational meeting. So I just would like to, what do you want me to come, or I can continue? The previous workshop, to introduce you our previous workshops. The first one, as I said, in February 2018 in Milano Politecnico. This was the first student workshop of the PUTGET project, and it was about the practicing and experiencing universal design principles in general and combined with related seminars through workshop time span. The students coming from partner institutions, actually we will have 5 students from each institutions, except the NGOs, only the universities, and they worked as a team in 5-day long workshops. It has to be 5 days, by the way. The first day of this workshop, it was a survey day, and this survey day, the teams went to several secondary schools, choosing specific characteristics, such as the building construction period, the type of school, temporal or central location, and using the prepared checklists, each team verified the accordance of the building's features to universal design principles. The Empathy Day was designed to allow students to experiment with various types of physical disabilities and to understand the daily problems that a disabled person meets in a school environment. During the Storytelling Day, it was the 3rd day of the workshop, students were encouraged to represent the knowledge acquired in the previous step, interesting elements observed in real context with direct experience. The different students group challenged the materials, debated the context, enriched them with their own knowledge and formulated their own opinions on research questions, building their own ground for the development of design ideas. And the ideation day was the 3rd day of the workshop, and in this day it was a full day of individual sketching and ideation around the selected areas, combined with sharing moments within the team to discuss and build upon each other's ideas. Participants choose their driving concepts to work on it. Brainstorming allowed to teams to identify a common design strategy and final concept directions. The 5th day was the last day of the workshop, and it was called Project Day. And this day defined the stage recreated typical professional pressure to deliver a final design work on time to an expanded client. The teams needed to prepare a 20-minute presentation of their final propositions. They had to resolve conflicting opinions and agree a plan, dividing tasks to produce their representation materials in time. They had to choose which team members will present the story and how they would like to present it as a group. This step of the process offered participants to change develop essential design team skills, being able to identify and agree upon the key messages around a concept and tell a story that conveys the key benefits and value of proposition convincingly in a given amount of time. Actually, when we were applying the project, for each school there were a conference. That's why now we have A3. We had A2, but the conference was in Milan, wouldn't accept it, and also the conference was in Milan, wouldn't accept it. That's why the students were presented their works in the workshop. But the last workshop and this workshop, you will also familiar with the activities and the presentations and the results of these workshops in here. So the other workshop we had in Detmold, it was hosted by TH Owl in Detmold, Germany. And it was in October 2018. The theme of the workshop was Universal Playground. This workshop was also combined with seminars related to the concept of inclusion. These student workshops aim to test and re-evaluate the parameter of inclusive design for spaces of learning by applying its essential points to the special context of the campus, their campus. The workshop was developed and designed with a perception-based focus, which drew a classical design process in 5 steps: brainstorming, analyzing, prototyping, digitalizing, and communicating. Innovative tools and creative environments helped students to categorize empathic relations between people with different abilities and generate exciting results. The first day of this student workshop was called Embodied Thinking. A variety of board games was created to help the students for creative ideas through brainstorming. Each team chose one parameter and started their creative journey. They assembled the game that fits to their topic and followed the instructions described on the game map. They played the games until they were out of ideas, reflect on the outcome, and selected 5 most interesting words. Each step was documented on the game map as well. The second day of this workshop was called Sensory Research. A bunch of analog and digital tools were collected to analyze and understand the research subject. For this, the teams find a place in the campus and analyze it with the limited time span. And then later on, they define 3 personas by using the info of the game map, as well as the analysis sheets and the selection of additional digital tools. The third day was called Plating Experience. In these steps, teams started to build one-to-one prototypes. They were able to use cardboard for the main construction. It was important to think of how the different parts should be connected in this actually one-to-one prototypes. It was possible to use colored tape to visualize references, make connections, show directions, or motion. The students added coloring text or drawing by using ink pencils. Within all these steps, the teams were asked not to forget to consider universal design principles for use for everyone. And the fourth step, it was time to make the prototypes speak, and that's why it was called Virtual Playground. Together with experts for digital media, the groups got a glimpse on new technologies that helped to digitalize the prototypes and enlarge the tangible objects by the virtual world. By using augmented reality technology, the students got to change the augmented prototypes by different data that was generated in the research phase of the workshop. They learned how to create multisensory real-time environments by adding digital sounds, videos, or animation to the analog world. And the fifth day of the student workshop was combined with the Man, Space and Inclusion Conference. That's why it was called as Conference Day. The annual Perception Lab Symposium is focusing on the extension of the interaction between humans and spaces by another additional area of interest. Following the idea of the PutCat project, the conference which conducted with the 11th Perception Lab Symposium as Man, Space and Inclusion. 7 international guests presented their experience working on the topic of inclusion. Presentation of internal activities from the PutCat team complemented the program. The results of the workshop became part of the event in the form of the Universal Playground exhibition that was developed by the teams. So, in 1.5 years' time span, we had also transnational project meetings. It's part of the project. Actually, we had to do it. And we did first in Milan and second in Detmold, and we really would like to go to Milan again, and we went there in the third time. It was an extra, and now we came to Firenze, and we also this meeting on Wednesday. So, as I said, actually the upcoming events of our project, it will be in November 2019 in Lahti, Finland, and there will be a student workshop, teacher training workshop, and one transnational meeting as well. And we also want you to find us through our website and our social media accounts, and we will also please if you find and follow us. Thank you for your listening.